And the Hamas militants broke through barriers around Gaza and roamed at will, killing scores of civilians in Israeli towns. Experts are now flagging intelligence gaps which undermined what was thought to be an aggressive and successful layered approach towards Gaza by Israel. Israeli agencies and defense chiefs are facing growing questions over how the disaster could have happened. The big question being, did Israel ignore warnings from Egypt as well? Egypt has a peace treaty with Israel and also borders the Gaza Strip, a Hamas stronghold. Egypt has in the past repeatedly been called upon to act as a mediator and is also happy to add to its diplomatic prestige. For Israelis, images of dead bodies lying on the streets or groups of civilians being driven or marched into captivity in Gaza came as a profound shock. Well, we'll tell you why. Well, according to an Egyptian intelligence official, Egypt had repeatedly warned Israel that the official said that the Israeli officials were more focused on the West Bank and ignored the threats from the Gaza Strip. The office of Israeli Prime Minister stated that Netanyahu received no message in advance from Egypt. Citing a source close to Hamas, news agency Reuters stated that the militant group conducted years-long campaign to manipulate Israel. Hamas fooled Tel Aviv into believing that it was not aiming for an armed conflict. Israel has always regarded Hamas as its sworn enemy. Since inflicting heavy damage on Gaza in a 10-day war in 2021, Israel had adopted a mix of carrot and stick approach to maintain stability in the Gaza Strip. It offered economic incentives, including thousands of work permits, allowing Gazans to work in Israel or the West Bank. At the same time, it maintained a tight blockade and the constant threat of airstrike. Israel thought that the approach was keeping the militant group in check. However, the Hamas militants were conducting drills in planned site and even constructed a mock Israeli settlement in Gaza. The militant group even made videos of the drills to improve their tactics. The Hamas group also tried different tactics to avoid leaks. Many of the Hamas leaders were unaware, and even Hamas militants involved in the attack were not given any details or the exact purpose of the drills. Hamas has controlled Gaza since 2007. Netanyahu's right-wing government has always made great play of its security credentials and taken an uncompromising stance towards the Palestinian militant factions. However, when the time came, Israel's security apparatus appeared to break down. Previous conflicts between Hamas and Israel have ended through mediation by powers with a keen interest in West Asian peace. However, experts say that the unprecedented nature of the assault by the Palestinian militant group could make any diplomatic efforts fruitless for now. Should a moment arise when diplomacy does become a possibility, then eyes will turn first to Egypt, which has traditionally played the role of mediator through its discreet intelligence services. And for more on the updates, we are now being joined by Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Mordechai Keder from Tel Aviv. He is a former senior Israeli Defense Forces military intelligence officer, as well as an Israeli scholar of Arabic culture and a lecturer at the university there. Thank you so much for joining us on WION, Colonel Keder.
Thank you.
Right, Colonel Keder, these are unprecedented times and you're joining us live from Tel Aviv. It is day 4 of the war in Israel. The death toll continues to spiral as we speak on both the sides of the war. What is the situation right now in Tel Aviv?
Tel Aviv itself lives its life, but the whole country today is devastated because of what we saw, what happened to more than 1,000 Israelis who were killed cold-bloodedly, who were slaughtered by these ISIS people named Hamas, who were burnt to death. Families, complete families with children were burnt to death by these ISIS fighters, terrorists. And now all Israel is united behind the government in order to get rid of this organization altogether, just like what happened with ISIS in Syria and Iraq 5 years ago. This is the same ideology, this is the same modus operandi, this is the same people, the same mindset, the same danger. And we actually saw them also in Mumbai, the same people, the same kind of people. We don't need them. The world doesn't need them. The world has to get rid of them.
Right.
And here we are apparently out going to do the job, whatever cost will be.
Right, Colonel Kedar. You have served for 25 years in the IDF military intelligence, and my next question is regarding the precarious hostage situation in Israel. How equipped is the Israeli government to handle the hostage crisis at the moment? What are the hiccups?
The hostage crisis is secondary. The big problem is how to get rid of this organization named Hamas, which is actually an ISIS, in order not to repeat the same scenario in a year or two or three.
Right. Now, Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad's failure to stop Hamas attack is under scrutiny. And according to reports, Egypt had rather warned Israel of something big from Gaza, which Netanyahu has clearly refuted.
All these questions will be investigated after the war. Now we are at war. And as they say in French, à la guerre comme à la guerre, means at a war like at a war. You fight in order to win the war, to get rid of your enemy, and then we'll look backwards to see what was wrong in the beginning.
Right, Colonel Kedar, but just to follow up to that, the war in Israel took place because of a colossal failure in intelligence, and experts are suggesting it is because of Mossad's intelligence failure and also that of the US.
There were many causes. There was a conception as if Hamas wants to have normal life in Gaza. Look, we in Gaza for years, we were letting them work in Israel so they can bring some money home. We gave them electricity, we gave them food, we gave them water to drink, we gave them gas for the cars. Everything in Gaza came from Israel. We believed that they are willing to live side by side with us, although they don't like us. But what turned in last Saturday is they do not want to live. They want to die as shaheeds, as martyrs, and kill us again as well. This is not going to happen. We were beaten. Yes, we were caught in surprise. Thousands of Israelis were killed, slaughtered, burnt.
Right.
3,000 are injured, some of them severely. Now we are at a war in order to get rid of this organization named Hamas.
Right. Thanks very much, Colonel Kedar, for joining us on WION and sharing your insights with us. We'll, of course, be tracking this very closely.